Greetings and salutations, internet citizens. This is Half-ork, and here we go with another video. This time, unlike the typical deal I usually do on my channel, I'm going to do something a bit different. As the title implies, this is the beginning of my my story of my Tabaxi Monk, named Tarder Sauce of the Forest River. Yeah, the audio is good. I actually got myself a microphone. And other characters in this story are Boulder the Aarakocra fighter, Colder the Half-ork Godslayer, which is a homebrew class I have no experience with, period. Smolder, who is a fire Genasi sorcerer. I don't know what type of sorcerer specifically. Didn't ask the person too closely. This is actually a recent campaign, and this is an evil campaign. Then there's the quartermaster. I do not know his name. I think we rarely even mention the character's name. We usually go by the player's name. This one is another homebrew one, but it's instead of a homebrew class, it's actually a homebrew race. It's some kind of once died, half dead being. I do not know. If you have an idea what it could be, you can leave it in the comments below. And then we have the captain, William Jack Stauber, who is a human artificer. By the way, the quartermaster is also an artificer as well. And as the story kind of starts out, we all mysteriously find letters on us that state, go to this place, this town, and here's a ticket to ride. Ticket to ride on a particular creature. It should be in here. Yeah, the Horizon back from Wildmount. So, first thing first, we traveled to the town, all individually, separately, and on the first day, the Godslayer, Colder, wanders into a church, and he comes across like 5 paladins. And I think he convinced some of them to wander off and another one to follow him out to the edge of town. Meanwhile, the Aarakocra fighter, Boulder, is flying around the town. The fire Genasi sorcerer, Smolder, is sitting in a pub. The once dead artificer, the quartermaster, is I do believe currently on top of the tallest building, the tower in the area, overlooking it with the captain, which is a human artificer as well. They're both artificers. They're big into guns. Okay, that is a thing you're going to get into this, catch in this story. Now, our friend, the Godslayer, Colder, which is an half-ork, picks a fight with a paladin on the end of the town. Okay. The DM, or as the DM puts it, God, tells the player directly, this guy is way over your level. You are most likely going to die if you fight him one-on-one. Meanwhile, me, Tartar Sauce, is just kind of milling about out in the square, which is only I think the DM said something like 40 or 60 feet, 40 some feet away. When I see him walk the paladin out to the edge of town, I start moving closer to him. I get myself within like 20 feet as this occurs. So as as Colder, the God Slayer, launches into an attack on the Paladin, which the DM told him, hey, this Paladin is way over you in level, and you're by yourself, essentially, that I'm moving in. Now, I'm a new player to Dungeons and Dragons. I've read the lore for years. I've studied all kinds of stuff, but I never really played Dungeons and Dragons. So this is the first game I ever played of actual Dungeons and Dragons with people. So I'm new, and I'm a new storyteller to this, and this is a new format for me, so I'm a little rough. But I'm moving up, and I am uneasy because I hear the DM, I know this is meta play here, I hear the DM tell Colder, hey, this guy is way over your level. You are most likely going to die. So Colder, being the angry God Slayer, I think it's patterned after Kratos from the God of War series, but his God Slayer is now fighting a Paladin, and the DM takes 2 dice. He rolls the hit dice. He rolls 2 dice. The DM, by the way, is rolling out in the open, and the player for Colder is like, wait, why are you rolling 2 dice? It's like, and the DM smiles, because he has 2 attacks. At that point, I'm really nervous. I'm a brand new player. I'm just playing a Tabaxi Monk. I'm a little on the squishy side because I'm level 1. Everyone is fucking level 1. So we now have Colder fighting the Paladin. Colder hits him, doesn't do too much damage, and then the Paladin unloads 2 attacks on Colder. And the DM double checks with Colder's player how much health he has, and DM says, hey, the next round he's gonna kill you. So what happens is the quartermaster and the captain, who are sitting on the tower, this is a really small town. It's like only 300-ish feet each from one end to the other, and the tower's in the dead center of the town, so it's like in a 150 feet, 100 feet from this whole fight, up in the sky. I am a really nervous player. I'm new, as I said. I don't want my first character I made, which I spend a lot of time thinking about and double checking with, what character are you guys playing, so I don't double over on a lot of people's characters. So it's funny that we got 2 artificers right off the bat, but I don't know which direction they're going to go when they get to... I think the quartermaster was talking about going down the artillerist route. He's really big into guns. But anyways, the quartermaster and William Jack Sparrow... we call him Jack Sparrow by accident, but it's Stauber... unload their fire. I'm basically moving up. I'm contemplating whatever I'm gonna do. I'm gonna throw one of my darts. I'm going to either pull out my short and hit them, because my die is bigger for my short sword than is for my hand-to-hand attacks. I remember I'm level 1, and I'm like nervous as heck because now there is a fight, and the DM has just said this guy is way over for your guy's over Colder's level. And so the quartermaster and the captain shoot, bang, bang. And playing that I'm playing to my character, I said I stopped. All I heard was thunder going off behind me. And then all of a sudden the paladin drops the ground. Now, at this point, as the shots are being fired, the Aarakocra, Boulder, declares, I am entering the fray. Caw, caw! And he moves in to attack. Well, the quartermaster and the captain just finished off the guy. They happened to land and hit really high on their die. And they just happened to manage to take out the paladin. So now I managed to I walked up to this. Paladin drops to the ground. Colder is standing there. The captain and the quartermaster somehow get down from the tower and then run the distance. I'm not 100% sure if it's 150 feet, but that's 100 feet or something like that. Yet again, this is the DM's decision that they managed to make that distance. And I'm the fastest person in the group, and I'm walking up quickly. I guess they just ran and sprinted. They went and sprinted all the way up to it as quick as they can. And I'm standing there, and I ask Colder, why did you attack that paladin? And Colder says, just because I wanted to. Okay. So now there's yelling in the distance, and now the captain and the quartermaster run up and grab Colder and pull him away. And at this point, there's a little confusion. Colder is basically trying to wiggle out of it, and the captain and the quartermaster are saying, "No, we're here to help you. There's a bunch of paladins that are running this way, and you're going to get attacked." So I go and follow them. Meanwhile, as this combination of actions occur, as Colder's being initially confronted with by the quartermaster and the captain to be taken away, and me following, the Aarakocra lands down and tries to strip the paladin of all his stuff, and asks the DM how long it takes. DM tells how long, and I said, "There's paladins that are running this way." The DM said it, and the DM says, "Yes, they are running. They see you. Other guys are off to the side now." This whole time, Smolder, the Fire Genasi Sorcerer, is sitting inside the pub. He hears this go off, and he walks outside the door. And as far as the paladins are concerned, all they saw was this birdman on top of a paladin trying to strip the armor and weapons. Boulder the Aarakocra, basically finding out that it takes too long to strip the paladin of his armor and his weapons, just grabs his sword and flies away. We also figured out in this time in the conversation that the heavy armor that the paladin is wearing would impair Boulder's flying capability to fly away, so he only grabs the sword and takes off. At this point, the paladins are literally chasing him as he flies over the top of the town. He tries to land down between a building, and he manages to hold there. And then he gets confronted by the captain and the quartermaster, and the paladins show up. And the paladins and the quartermaster capture Boulder the Aarakocra because the paladins think he killed the other paladin. The captain and the quartermaster hand off of the Aarakocra to the paladins. The paladins bind up the Aarakocra and take him to the church or the town building. I cannot remember. I think it's specifically the church, and they went to the backside because apparently there's an office for the township in the backside of the church, or at least for the paladins. And they take him up the floors, and I'm kind of like standing outside, and the captain and the quartermaster. There's two paladin guards, and the captain and the quartermaster use their magic or their artificer magic or devices to get the two paladins to fight each other. So they're fighting each other, and they pull themselves away, and the captain and the quartermaster go up in the building. I'm outside. I was kind of wanting to go in the building, but everyone kind of just interpreted my inaction as I'm still standing outside the building. So they go up into the building. They confront another paladin up on the floor, doing paperwork. They take out that paladin. By the way, in the moment that the guards were fighting outside, they stole the keys from one of the paladins, and they went up into the building. And then when they took out the guard that was doing all the paperwork for the incident that occurred, because they're very officious bureaucrats, apparently, they then go and take out the guard that's guarding Boulder. they take Boulder out of the building, and I follow him along. At this point, we kind of take a break for the night. No, we do not take a break for the night. We go to the bar. And for whatever reason, I find this kind of really weird that we are, the Aarakocra is now a criminal. And I noted that the Aarakocra is in the bar now in the town. And then the dungeon master says, yeah, you had to roll for concealment. And here, let's decide what style we go with. And then the Aarakocra player, Boulder, rolls his die and gets a really shitty roll. And then the DM says you failed at concealing yourself effectively. And then I said, as Tarder sauce, I'm sitting in the pub right now, not terribly far from the Aarakocra, drinking my tea, and I see this Aarakocra hide in a very awkward manner, and he's clearly trying to hide as well as he is basically not hidden. And the player says, no, I'm rolling again. And he rolls again, and he gets a good one and says, okay, now... And the DM says, okay, you failed the first time. Everyone in the pub that currently saw you clearly. However, the people that are coming in, the paladins, do not notice you because you managed to fix how you screwed up your hiding. And you managed to blend into the pub bit. And I'm not entirely certain. And then the captain and the quartermaster come back over to the Aarakocra, talk to him a bit. They have their own little private meeting. They go over and talk to Colder and have a little meeting with him. Meanwhile, we just have Smolder drunk as heck in the bar. I basically, at the point of when he walked out of the bar initially, when the guns got fired, I made a joke about him drinking all the time, and we see him come out of in the pub, and then I make a joke about, hey, there's a red man and he has tons of beers around him. He's spending a lot of time in the pub. So everyone had a good laugh. It kind of turned into, at various points, the captain, who is William Jack Stauber, who is a human, very odd, as the entirety of our party is basically a pretty far off of human as it is. But okay, let's go with that. William Jack Stauber, who is clearly setting himself to be the leader of this organization, because he's a captain, he has rank, and he's talking with everyone, and then he comes over to me, and he asks me, I notice you've been following us around. Are you interested in... I think he said something along lines of him saying he noticed I was following him around, and he wanted to know what I was up to. And I basically told him I enjoy watching chaos and order act out, or something to that effect. This is actually a few sessions back from this video, by the way. And I've noticed that you guys are having a lot of fun with the game of life. Sort of a fourth wall meta role right there for me. And I've decided I will follow you. I will join in with what you're going to be, and depending on how awesome it is, I will aid you in combat and your goals. And the captain is like, oh, he's sitting there. It's like, because he's the leader, he's the captain, and I'm like, I have seen what you guys do. I have enjoyed seeing you guys play the game of life, so I will join you. And if there is something great of this or something or other, I will even aid you greatly in such matters. which is really funny because the second session is like, okay, I oddly fail and succeed on many things, but this is just a little fun short round here. So from here out, we basically leave the bar and we basically declare the end of the day, and I do my standard meditation and I do all my stuff, and we start into the next day. So we get on to the back of the horizon back, this giganto tortiso, and we get introduced to the driver, who is a turtle named Bill, and there's 2 guards on there. And there happens to be on the horizon back a mounted ballistas, one on each shoulder. There's a pallet, little control cockpit hit up on the high rise of the front of the horizon back, where the turtle driver sits. So we get on there. The other guys tie their camels to the back end of the tortoise, or the horizon back. I should say horizon back turtle or tortoise. And we set off. And as we're going through the town, going out to the area, I walk around. I decide I'm going to start doing some of my exercises. I'm going to jump up and climb the scaffolding or the structure. Do some flips, fly around. I'm looking at everything. I'm checking out the woodwork and all the other stuff, because I also have some training as a carpenter that came back from my monk days, and everyone else is going around, and the quartermaster and the captain are checking out the ballistas. They're big into guns, they're big into big weapons. We're knowing where this is going with the story here, because we're playing the evil campaign. So I'm traveling around and I notice Bill, and then the DM says something along the lines that there's a map, and then I asked him, is there any books on this horizon back? And he says no, which turns out to be a lie. I will tell you that in the following video of this. But I check out everything. I look around. The captain and the quartermaster are checking out the weaponry and the structure. Smolder is just hanging out. Colder is hanging out. Smolder is the fire Genasi, and Colder is the half-ork godslayer. Boulder is just flying around above us. He's an Aarakocra fighter. He's flying around. He's just checking out everything. He's watching. And then we keep on going. We're traveling across the desert. We get 20 feet in a turn or something. Then, each footstep of the horizon back goes 20 feet, and it's just moving along. So basically 2 miles per hour is it's worked out to be, which is basically human walking speed. So now we're traveling through the desert, and off in the distance, the DM announces that there is this rocky outcropping that rises up. And we're traveling. It's great off in the distance, and we're just traveling along. And I'm currently just checking out what's on the ship. I'm looking around, seeing if there's any books, because, I'm a monk. I like learning knowledge and culture and stuff like that. And I also like experiencing a little chaos and order here and there. I am the order in the chaos, okay, as far as a monk is concerned. So we're just watching and we're looking, and the captain is clearly studying the weaponry of the horizon back, and walking around looking at things, and Colder, Smolder, and Boulder are just doing their things, as well as the quartermaster is also following around the captain. They look into the captain, the quartermaster walk off to the side, and they basically start talking about taking over the horizon back. And asks around quickly with everyone there, and yeah, we're interested in that. That could be a good route to go. So now the captain no longer he doesn't have his boat. His boat is off on some coast 100 plus miles away. And we're just traveling through a desert, and the captain wants a boat. So now he's planning on taking the Horizon back as his land boat. So now we're traveling through the desert, and we're getting closer to this outcropping way out there. And right around this time, it's the end of the it comes to the end of the session. The DM does not announce exactly what experience we got. He noted that a few people got some experience and went from there. So now this continues into session 2, which will be the next video. So right here in this part of the video, I'm going to talk about some details and thoughts. I do very much enjoy this game. This is the very first Dungeons and Dragons game I ever played. I have read and researched Dungeons and Dragons lore for many years. And I've also looked up rules and tactics and all kinds of stuff like that. So yeah, I've been subscribed and I've been reading a lot on Dungeons & Dragons for years. So, but I've never played until this game. So as I said, I am very nervous. I chose the Tabaxi Monk because it has, the combination is excellent movement. I have 20 feet of climbing. So I can just scamper up stuff with my claws. I chose a monk because I don't need a melee weapon. I do not need a melee weapon, okay? But I do have a sword. Not this, but I do have a short sword. So I do have a melee weapon. I do have a capacity to use simple and martial weapons. I have to double check that. But anyways, yeah, because I'm new at playing Dungeons and Dragons. I'm simple weapons, short swords. Okay, it's simple weapons and short swords, not martial weapons. But anyways, so I basically chose Monk because I wanted to be able to move fast. I chose the Tabaxi because they're versatile. They have dark vision. I can see 60 feet in the darkness. Yes, I have heightened reflexes, so I can negate attacks more easily as a Tabaxi. As well as the Monk also gains reflexive abilities that allow it to negate attack damage. So it's very important to me as a new player to make sure that I have extremely great range of versatility to avoid horrible things. Yeah, as it says, as feline agility, your reflexes and ability allow you to move with burst of speed when you move. So I can charge it. I can double my movement speed and rush into an area or out of an area. So there. And obviously I can intersperse that. I also have my kitty claws, which I can turn my blunt damage attacks with my hands and into slashing damage. So there. And you can speak and read common was one other language. I've already talked with my DM about it. Then I chose my second language, and then when I reminded him I chose my second language, he says, "Oh, interesting," because the DM obviously has a leaning towards a particular type of a monster, and that particular type of monster has its own language, as well as other species or monsters around it. So I chose a language that would mesh up with the DM's preference in creatures. So yeah, if you have any thoughts on tips on playing a monk or a Tabaxi, throw it in the comments below. Now, as I said, the reason why I chose the Tabaxi and the Monk is for maneuverability and versatility in being able to hit things even when I get stripped of weapons. So, awesome. I've yet entirely to choose what subclass I want to go down. I am kind of between... I actually have kind of like it's either Shadow Monk or open fist style Monk, or also the side option is Sun Soul, which is also the other one I'm interested in using as well. So there's also other options as well. I'm interested in using. Maybe the Long Death Monk would be great. Long Death might work great out with the whole the Long Death Monk might actually be very appropriate for the campaign we're playing. It might actually help me with the next part of the story. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you have any thoughts whatsoever for on Tabaxi Monks, tips for like new players and stuff like that, feel free to throw it in the comments below. I'm very interested. I love if you know of any videos that have good tips or information. I may have watched them already, but feel free to leave links to those in the comments below as well. As usual, I'm really big into researching stuff, and I like to know what other people think, and I want to improve as a player. So thank you very much for watching, and see you next time, and have a delightful day, a nice night, a wonderful week, and a magnificent month.